Hey, what's up, people? This is my very old and extremely well used clothes iron that I've had for many, many years. Now, ow! Nah, I'm just kidding, people. It doesn't work. It's not even on. I can't believe you guys fell for that. For the past few months, it had been acting kind of weird, and now it seems to have completely given up the ghost, and it doesn't do anything anymore. So, I'm going to see if we can possibly bring this back to life, and if not, then I'm going to have to look at replacing it. But I've already removed some of the screws holding stuff together, so this bottom portion is now able to come off, and inside we see we've got a little candy bag looking thing hiding all the sweet electronics in there. So these crampons look a little burnt-ish. Is it going to be an electrical problem? Ooh, that just broke off. Yeah, let's get a better view of this stuff. Well, shoot. I thought the problem was going to be more on the electronic side, but this looks pretty bad. It doesn't look like maybe when they crimped this cap on that they did a very good job on it. It looks a little loose. Let's see if I can pull it off by hand. No, not quite. So maybe not. Get a plier. See if I can get this to open up. Tells its secrets. Well, the plastic's coming off. It's all super crispy. I mean, it's been squeezed together, but maybe there's so much contact resistance now that it's just not working properly. There we go. I got that to separate. I can pull that crimp off now. So surprisingly, the wires don't look too burnt, but I don't know if this was the actual issue. I guess I can twist these back together. For the time being, I'll just put a wire nut on it just to hold them together. This other one also looks a little toasty, but not as bad as this one was. Let's see if that works. This could be the only issue with the unit. I thought maybe it was going to be something more electronic. As we can see, there's a capacitor inside of this bag. We can see some resistors and stuff. So yeah, this clothes iron is all like basically electronically controlled. And I was thinking that maybe that was going to be a part of the issue, but yeah, let me go get a wire nut, and then that way these wires can stay together. We'll see if it turns on. Okay, I've secured a wire nut. Let's put that on. Okay, so I'm going to plug it in, and I believe that as soon as you plug it in, the off LED starts blinking. Let's see if that happens, because that was not happening as of lately. So let's see. I'm going to plug it in. And okay, maybe not. Let's see. Will it turn on? I'm just lift it up off the bench. It is not doing anything. So maybe that's not the only issue. And well, let's see what happens if I squeeze that other what is it? A crimp cap. Nothing happens. Nope. So yeah, maybe the problem's not electrical. It's probably still going to be something inside of this little bag then. All right. Well, let's take a look inside then, I guess. I guess something I should check while we have the chance is to see what the continuity is like between the prongs on the plug and the ends of the wire where they are crimped to other wires. So let's do the neutral side. And that one is, this one looks like. So, nope, that looks pretty good. Wiggling it doesn't change anything, so I don't think this is going to be part of the problem. Let's check the live side. Oh, what the? Uh-oh. That's got continuity, but that doesn't. So is the cord actually bad? It appears so, but where? Well, since these probes are really sharp, I punctured the jacket on the live wire coming in to see a little bit further up from where it's actually crimped, just to see if there's any continuity there, and there is not. And I'm starting to wonder if this actually broke at the plug end. As you can see, it looks a little bit on the bulbous side, so it could be just from bending that this has broken inside. But even if I leave this just kind of in that hole so that it's making contact, and I wiggle this around, I was hoping that maybe I could get some continuity to happen, but it's not making contact. So it's possible that maybe internally the wire has just kind of like burnt up and it's just not evident on the outside because, yeah, I can't really tell, but that there does not look like it's very structurally sound. So maybe I'll cut this off and see what the wires look like in there and see if from that point all the way to the other end we have continuity. If that's the case, then replacing the plug itself should pretty much do it. But let's see what happens. All right, and snip. That looks like it was intact, so maybe that's not the problem. Whoops. Replacing the plug itself is not very difficult. Well, let's see. Do we have continuity from this side to the other side now? I guess what I could have done is just poked the end and then checked the plug, but oh well. Nope, still no continuity. Found it. It's right in this spot, somewhere in there. I think it's going to be that. I stuck one of the probes into the wire, and then I stuck the other one into that hole I punctured in the jacket. And if I wiggle this area, I can get it to work again. Or at least it was. Now it doesn't want to anymore. Yeah, it does not want to make contact anymore. But at one point I did get it to beep while I was sort of manipulating this area. So, yeah, it's basically going to come down to I have to replace the power cord. Well, since we've got nothing to lose, let's just cut this apart and see what it actually looks like. So I'm just going to cut a little bit further from where this bend is. Let's see if I can pull these wires out. And if it's broken, like in this area, then I'll only be able to pull some of the wire out. And nope, that came out completely intact. So where the heck is the break? Well, it's not on this end of the wire. All right, that's weird. Now when I probe this, oh, well, it worked like once. No, it's not. Okay, there we go. There we go. Is it this? There's another weak feeling spot right at this point. Dude, this thing is... There it is. It's somewhere in this area then. See if we can pinpoint it. Okay, best as I've been able to pinpoint, the issue might be in this section of wire, but it doesn't seem like there's any physical damage on the outside, other than maybe that sort of crooked looking stuff right there, but that's the neutral side. It's not the live side, and that's the one that's seems to have some issues. So let's cut off this little section of wire and see if we can see what that looks like. Okay, let's pull the wire out, see if it only partially comes out. Nope, it's not that section either. What the heck? Okay, middle section of the cable. It's gotta be here somewhere. There it is. That's where it's broken. Yeah, and it's kind of dark, like it's been arcing. So that was right about there on this piece of cable. And the only evidence that there was something wrong is that tiny little bulbous section. Yeah, there it is. You can see it's all dark where it's been arcing. So, doesn't look like there was any physical damage to the outside of it. It looks like these wires just at some point started breaking at that point. Well, I'm going to have to replace the cable if I want to make it work again. Okay, since unfortunately I have no other way of removing wrinkles from clothes at the moment, I don't have another replacement clothes iron. I'm in a bit of a crunch, and if I want to avoid looking like I'm wearing origami when I go out, this is what I'm going to do, just temporarily. So there's a bit of cord still left, and I've determined that this part of the cord is not a problem. So first of all, actually, I'm going to crimp a... Oh, there it is. I'm going to put a crimp cap on those two wires where the crimp cap was kind of damaged. So let's go ahead and do that real fast. All right, so those are secure. I'm going to temporarily put this plug on the end of the two wires, and this is a grounded plug, which there's no ground going to it. But I don't have a two-prong plug that I can use at the moment. I would want to replace the entire cord. The only issue is that it has to be heater cord, not like a regular lamp cord or like an extension, that I chop off and put on there, which would work. It's just not ideal. This stuff is meant to be more flexible. And I think this type of jacket is a little bit more like flame resistant. And as we saw where the cable was burnt, it was kind of dark, but the plastic itself or the jacket wasn't melted or anything in any sort of way. So I'm going to feed that through the outer piece, and on the ends of the wires, I'm going to crimp one of these forked terminals onto it. And this is not something that I would recommend, if you don't know what you're doing. Like I said, this is just going to be temporary while I get either a new cord, or if I decide to get a new iron, then I'll do that. But this is just because I need to iron some clothes at the moment. I have nothing else. I am going to use a heavy-duty extension cord between this portion and the one going to the wall, because, that's definitely like way too short to plug straight into the wall and use it. So I'm going to make sure that I get the neutral side on the neutral side of the plug. So that's going to be that side, and the live side on the live side. Make sure that the screws are snug enough so that there's no contact resistance that's going to cause things to get too hot. Fix this one a little bit. Okay, I think I need to angle these down just a tad. They interfere with the casing otherwise. All right, there we go. And now let's just secure the clamp on the end. There we go. I'm just going to put the bottom cover on just so the little controller's not flapping around in the breeze while I'm trying to see if it works. Okay, so I've got an extension cord. Let's plug it in and see if it comes back to life. And that way I can get a few things done around here. And plugging it in. There it is. That's what it should do. So yeah, it's working now. Yep, it's warming up. I'm just going to turn it off before it gets too hot to handle. Cool. I can get some stuff done around the house. Hey, wait a second. Didn't I just sort of make this thing usable? Well, yes, but that was actually a few weeks ago now. We are going to make the repair a bit more permanent this time, and we're going to skip the bit of a jankiness that I had originally put on it. And so I finally found something that appears that should be suitable for replacing the original cord on the iron. And it took me a bit of searching because I didn't quite know what to look for. I was looking for, like replacement heater cord, or extension heater cord, things like that. And turns out that the magical 3 letters that are printed on the original cord that led me to the right answer is 3 letters, say HPN. So what the heck is HPN? Well, I didn't really know either. I'm not an expert on cables or anything like that. But while I was trying to figure out what the heck HPN was, I came across this document that's called powercords.pdf. And if you search for this term, you will get this link to Carnegie Mellon University. It's a PDF document, and it says Power Cord Glossary of Terminology. And if we open up that document, it gives us a lot of information as to how to identify different types of cable. And as I mentioned, in our case, we have HPN, which stands for heater, parallel, neoprene. And it even says required for heater type applications such as irons, toasters, etc. Well, this is perfect. And it actually also helps us to identify other types of cables. So we just need to know what the 3 letters are that are printed on the jacket of the wire. And then, we can look it up and see what it means. Just to give another quick example, if you saw the video that I just recently posted about replacing the cord on a Dremel, the cable on that actually has SVT printed on it. And if we look at that document again, we see that S stands for stranded, it says, or service wire. And the V stands for vacuum, as in vacuum cleaner. And then the T is thermoplastic. So we have stranded vacuum thermoplastic. And it also gives us a few other examples down at the bottom. It says SV, stranded vacuum. If you need a cable for something and you know what the 3 letters are, you could probably like easily identify, what the good replacement cable for that would be. But let's get back to this part. So this cable appears to have good specs that are going to be, totally suitable for the iron. It's also 16 gauge. It can handle 1,625 watts. The iron is rated for only 1,400 watts. The only difference between the original cable and this replacement cord that I found, other than the color that is that the temperature printed on this original cable says 105 degrees C. This cable that I bought has a maximum of 90 degrees C. Unfortunately, either I didn't come across anything better, or I don't know, maybe just something better wasn't immediately available. So this is what I picked. It's an 8-foot general purpose heater cord. We are just going to lob off the socket end. Oh, one other quick thing. If you happen to have another one of these irons that's like the exact same model number, this happens to be a 4268-126, and you need to know how to like take this top part off because your nozzle got pushed in or something, which was what happened in my case. There's 2 screws that you can remove. There's one inside, which is going to be hidden by the power cord as it goes up. And there's also one hidden underneath the 2 buttons right there. So you've got to pop these 2 buttons off. They just have a couple clips that hold it in place. And once those are removed, you have access to that screw. This entire white part with the rubber stuff on it, that just kind of lifts up. It's got 2 clips. And then that gives you access to the rest of the tubing and stuff that's attached to it. So, yeah, just a quick little thing there. All right, so other thing that I'm probably going to want to do is replace this bag that houses the electronics. I'm pretty sure this bag is only put on there to prevent water and stuff from getting inside. When you're filling it or whatever, you happen to dribble some on the iron, goes in there just to prevent the electronics from getting wet, because obviously you have high voltages. You don't want that stuff getting wet. Lacking anything else that I would think would be more suitable, I'm going to use a sandwich bag, and I'm going to cut off the zipper part of it, bag everything inside of that, and then just use a couple zip ties, same way they did to kind of close it up, because it doesn't need to be like crazy watertight. You just don't want like water that splashes on it to get on that stuff. So that's what I figured might work for that. If I come up with something better later on, then maybe, I'll open it back up and replace it then. We need to finish removing the rest of this cable. We're going to remove the crimp caps. I've already got some replacement crimp caps I can use. And in order to finish removing the original cable, there's 2 screws that are holding this clamp down. And once that's removed, and the cable's free to release from the rest of the unit. There we go. And I'm going to do these one at a time just so I don't get them mixed up. So this is the hot side. Looks like the hot side goes straight into the heating element. I would have figured they would have done the neutral side for that, but I don't know. That's how they did it. The rib side on 2 conductor cables like this is pretty much everyone I've seen always the neutral side. The smooth side is the live side. So I'm just going to squeeze the crimp cap from the sides, and that opens it up, allows it to release. And there we go. So that side can come out, and I'm going to get this other cable ready. Like I said, I'm just going to lob off the socket end, which makes me kind of feel bad. I kind of wish I would have been able to find a cord that didn't have an end on it, but this is all I could find. So we're going to split that open a bit, and I'm going to push it through the cable strain relief. There you go. I'm going to try to shape it so that it's very similar to what the original was. Let's see. I'll try to match the length by doing this. All right. So I'll split it up to about that point. Like that. Okay. And I need about 1/2 inch of jacket stripped off. Maybe, let's see, just a little on the short side. Just do a little bit more. And then I'm just going to twist the 2 together before I put the crimp up on. That way I get a really solid connection. I'm just going to give it the squeeze. There we go. That feels pretty secure. Pretty confident that that's not going to come off. And let's do the same with the neutral side. This one actually has 3 wires going to it. So got the wire coming in, and then we got 2 of these blue ones. Okay, I think those are going to be pretty good like that. And I'm going to use a slightly longer crimp cap on this just because it's got the 3 wires coming in. All right, it's pretty good. Now, this is the one that I replaced the first time around, so I think that one's going to be fine. This one, however, I think I probably should replace. I don't know if we saw that on this one when I removed it. The 2 wires were basically just straight, and they had just crimped over them. So I think that was the whole reason why. Maybe there was a little too much internal resistance in there, and the wire or the entire like crimp assembly maybe was starting to get too hot, and the plastic got all crispy. And as we can see, this one's already kind of a little bit discolored. So I'm wondering if they did the same thing where they just sort of crimped the 2 wires straight. So let's see. Oh, that plastic completely broke. And there it comes. So yeah, it doesn't look like they really twisted them or anything. And this stuff is not like regular copper wire. This stuff it's a lot harder. Hopefully that'll be a much better connection. And grip the new cap on. All right, there we go. So hopefully that should be a much better connection. Now it's just a matter of removing these zip ties so I can pull the bag off. And this bag is all torn up, as you can see. I think what happened is at one point I dropped this, and the back, you can see right there, there's a crack. It broke. And I'm thinking that maybe when that happened, there was a couple of these tabs that looked like they were supposed to hold this in place. But I tried to put it in there just to see if I could make it fit. It doesn't really seem to fit very well. So it looks like it's just kind of vibrating around, and like that tore the bag up. Let's see how it fits, if I can try to put it on there after I remove the bag and the zip ties. So I think it would have been something like that. We can see how we've got that cutout on the side. Yeah, it looks like maybe that's how it would have fit. But judging by the bottom of this, it doesn't look like this was ever making contact on those posts, because otherwise I would think there would have been like some more obvious indentations on it. So I think from the get-go, this was just sort of floating around in there. So I don't know. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel for this, so I'm just going to cut the zipper off this bag as I mentioned. Bag it up once again. All right, I'm going to use a couple of pretty blue zip ties, and nobody's going to see them because it's inside the thing, and it's not like it's translucent or anything. So, all right. Trim those up. There we go. Pretty much done. All right, so I just need to get these back up. Make sure these are out of the way. I'm going to put the cable clamp back on. This doesn't really seem to have any specific way that it needs to be put on. It just pinches the 2 wires up against the body. Okay, so that is secure. This thing can be stuffed back in there, so it can sit inside, something like that. All right, I can close it back up, and that should basically be it. And this little plug that covers up the screw hole. Oh, can't forget about the buttons. There we go. Good as new. Actually, I gave this thing an external cleaning while I had it out. I did notice once I was reviewing some of the footage that it looked a little on the dingy side, and I wasn't really too noticeable in person. But I gave it a good cleaning, so it actually looks pretty good, with the exception of that stuff. And this happened when I set it on top of something that melted. I don't remember what it was. It's been years. And I tried to clean off as much of it as I could. But this stuff is like so baked on that it doesn't matter how hot it is. It does not like melt or anything. And it doesn't leave any residue on any clothing that I iron with it. So I haven't really bothered too much with it. I would like to get rid of it. I just haven't found a way to be able to do so. So if anybody that's in irons and stuff knows how to get rid of that stuff, I would totally love to hear it, and maybe just leave a comment down below. But like I said, for the time being, it seems totally fine. And now I've got a good replacement cord that's long enough that's not going to require a separate extension. So let's give it one more run and see if it, make sure that it does power up. But I mean, I see no reason why it shouldn't. There we go. The off button or the indicator is blinking. So when I turn it up, it should go up, and just kind of briefly touch it just to make sure that it's getting warm. And be careful around iron people as they do get hot. Okay, there we go. It's warming up. So I'm just going to turn it down. Cool. And with all that, I'm super thrilled to have this thing with a good cord again. And it's not that it would be difficult to replace something like this. You know, I just go out to the store and buy one, but I don't want to throw it out if the only issue is that there's just something wrong with the cord. And, you know, it's the only thing that needs to be replaced. So I'd rather fix it than go out and buy a new one. And that's what we achieved today. So that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully, you know, maybe picked up a few tips or something from all this. If you are messing with an iron, though, do be careful. You know, these things are high voltage, high wattage, and any little thing in there that's causing, you know, things to get a little too hot, it can be dangerous. So, you know, do things kind of at your own risk. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all for watching once again, and I'll see you guys around the bench.